Well, hello there, friends, foes, and all those in between. My name is Jeremy Ball, and today we're going to talk about this Comicsgate stuff. We're going to start trying to do a video a day. That way we can just get the thoughts out. So I'm not going to edit these up all crazy style and everything. These are just going to be straight talks because there's a lot of misconceptions going on about a lot of different things, and it needs to be addressed. One thing being comics. We have a lot of indie creators right now that are attacking each other and just tearing each other down. The mind-blowing part is that half of them talk badly about DC and Marvel while backhandedly wanting them to succeed. And they want them to succeed. They want them to succeed because they think that they are the life of comics, that comics cannot exist without them, that comics will die. This could not be farther from the truth. The reason that they want them to succeed is because they still have a love in the back of their heart for these companies. But the truth is that comics are not dying. They're just dying here. Manga is doing well, and everybody's like, oh yeah, that's a different thing. Is it? When manga was doing bad in the 70s and 80s, they were doing bad, but they just weren't doing that great. They weren't the greatest. They didn't say, oh, well, we're doing not so great, so obviously comics are dead. No, they said DC and Marvel are doing great. Or at least doing good. We need to aspire to be more like them. We need to learn from them. We need to do the things that they're doing and do them better than them if we can. But when the flip side happens and Marvel and DC start dying, all these comic fans go, okay, oh man, it's over. It's so over. No, manga is comics, regardless of what you think. We're in a world market now. We're not in countries. Even back then, they were thinking world market-wise. So we need to do the same. Instead of sitting here crying about Marvel and DC going down and saying, oh, well, if they're over, it's over. The fact is that the only reason you have to worry about comics dying or American comics dying is because they're creating no viable options to replace Marvel and DC. But the truth is they're out there. But we're too busy squabbling over the scraps. We're too busy saying, oh, well, I'll create a comic a year. That's not a viable option. It's not. And the guys that are sitting there saying, oh, well, we team up. You're teaming up, but you're teaming up as separate companies. You're not teaming up as we're becoming a single company. And if you're not becoming a single company, then whoever you're teaming up with will eventually become your competition. And if it's your competition, it's not going to last that long. And that's why you're getting this infighting and squabbling and arguing and all this mess. Because deep down inside, eventually they're going to be the competition. They're going to be the competition. And when they start overtaking your sales, you see it right now. You start to strike back. And that's justified. It really is. Just not in the way you're doing it. You can celebrate. Here's the big problem most people don't understand. You're supposed to celebrate the victories of your enemies. And the reason is because you can learn from them. You can. Even if they're bad, even if they're horrible, if you look at it from the idea of, I can learn from this. And then when I learn from it, if I do it better than them, then you can overtake them. Instead of crying about somebody else is doing it better than you, or trying to act like they're not real, or they're not viable, or they're not this and that. Learn from what they've done. Do yours better. Just get better at the things you want to be. Cut down the comic a year to 2 a year, then to 4 a year, then to 8 a year, then to 12 a year, and you're good to go. That's one every month. And that'll start you off. But this end squabbling is doing nothing. You're spending more time fighting between each other than you are making comics. You're destroying the option of becoming viable because you're spending so much time online squabbling. You just can't. You can't become something great if you're too busy fighting somebody else. You've got one hand tied behind your back, and you need both hands to be drawing and writing and inking or whatever you're doing. The bottom line is this, is that when this all started back in 2017, me and Eric, that's the artist for Nemesis, we saw what was happening just like everybody else did. We were upset, sure. But the route we chose was different. And I'm not saying it was better. Not at all. But it was different. When everybody started making videos, we started making them, and we just couldn't. We kept going, no, we need to learn more about the comics. We need to learn more about how they're made, about how they're produced, about what to do here, about all the tricks, all the little things that are completely needed to make a good comic, to make a solid comic. Now, there's guys that worked in the industry that are independent now. They're good for them. They've been in it. They understand these tricks and all this stuff. But the problem is the vast majority of guys making comics right now in the independent market don't. And they've been led to believe that, oh, well, if you just get on YouTube, you bark a lot, you say a lot, you garner a large crowd, well, that makes me viable. Now I can make a comic. Comics are a trade. They're a skill. They're a craft. And they take time. Not just to make, but to learn. It took us years to learn them and learn them well. Crafting characters, designing characters, not just making a guy with blue jeans and a t-shirt that has an S on it or a P on it or whatever with cool looking shades. You have to spend the time to actually develop and learn. And let me tell you, boys, manga knows their game when it comes to character creation. Boy, they know it. And you guys are discounting manga, saying, no, they all look the same. Sure, their faces do, but they think the same thing about half of y'all guys' art. Not all of them. There's plenty of, that's the one thing I will give American artists. I think there's more differences in the art styles. The whole thing is this, is that they understand how to accessorize their characters correctly. And that's a big win. Some of them are very simple. And then some of them nail it. They understand putting meaning behind the outfits, putting meaning into a bracelet or a necklace or a hat, and making that completely something that's their readers understand. They see it, they know what it is, they get it. But they take the time. And when they do that, that makes their character so much more viable than just a guy in a super suit. There's nothing wrong with super suits. Shoot, we got tons of them. But you got to think about what things to add to the suits that make them a viable creation, that make them some, I'm going to say viable out the wazoo today, apparently, that make them something that you want to read, that you want to see, that you associate yourself with. And I hate saying association. Golly, I'm saying a bunch of stuff that I hate today. But not so much that you associate yourself as far as saying, I'm that guy, I see me. No, it's more so you associate yourself with the feeling, the heroism of them. They got a bracelet and you say, man, and they don't want to let it go because it came from their great grandma. Well, a lot of us have stuff like that. A lot of us have necklaces and heirlooms and stuff. There's a lot of things that they can associate themselves to. I know how that feels. It's the feeling of the character. And that's what they're doing over there. But we don't want to learn it over here because we're too busy saying that they're not real comics. They're not comics like us. It's a different thing. Well, if you keep saying that, it is going to be a different thing. And it's going to be a different thing that destroys your market. So the truth is that everybody needs to get off the manga's not comics page. And I know there's a bunch of manga guys watching this that are saying, oh, yes, it's totally different. No, it's not. It's not. It's read backwards. You're flipping a book backwards, it makes it totally a different thing. Is that what you're trying to tell me? Panel works the same. They use a lot more speed lines, but it's the same thing. Comics are a universal thing. French comics are awesome. Manga comics are awesome. German comics, there's Russian comics. They're awesome. Major Grimm, whatever it is, fantastic. But we're not going to become viable options by squabbling with each other. We all need to get on the same page. And that same page isn't, oh, we need to get on the same page and work together. That's get on the same page and realize that we can't become the next company to usurp Marvel or DC if we're too busy squabbling and not creating. Take the time, learn to create, make your stuff great. And then if you want to get into that junk, get into it. I'd rather not. I'd rather look at the positive sides of everybody. And I know there's some people that have some really negative stuff about them, but why focus on it? Life's too short for that junk. Enjoy your life. Make good stuff. Follow what you think is going to be the next thing. Don't let other people make you think that you can't be that great. Don't look at the people that are doing this stuff and say, oh, their comic is so much better than mine. I'll never be able to achieve that. It's the wrong way to look at it. Everybody's got to learn. Even the guys that were in the comic industry that are doing it now outside of the comic industry, they had to learn. But that doesn't mean their book's going to be better than yours. You could be the next Stan Lee sitting in your house, oh no, Stanley or Jack Kirby, or hell, you could be anybody in the comic industry that you like, sitting in your house worrying about what everybody else thinks about what your comic is, when it would do fantastic if you just got out and did it. Learn the craft, become something great. And that's about it. So, friends, foes, and all those in between, this has been Jeremy Ball, and I'll talk to you next time.